First story. My delusional daughter works hard, but never spends her money. So I took it and bought my son a PC. And my entitled daughter demanded I pay her back and called me a thief. I grounded her and demanded she pay rent. Now she left my house and told extended family. And now they stopped supporting me. God, I hate my daughter. I 43F have 2 children. My daughter now 17 and my son just turned 13. My husband 46M, and I live in a modest flat in the UK. And we've always done our best to give our kids what they need, not always what they want. Because things have been tight. We're not starving or anything, but we're not flush either. My husband works full-time in a small logistics company, and I'm a homemaker, mainly because we couldn't afford childcare back when the kids were younger. And now it's just stuck. We scrape by, not proud of it, not ashamed either. It is what it is. My daughter is one of those mature beyond her years types. Always with a plan, always 5 steps ahead in her own head. She's been working part-time since she was 15. I'll give her credit, she's a hard worker. But the thing is, she knows it. You can't say anything to her without her pulling the whole, I'm responsible for my future speech. Don't get me wrong, I'm proud she's not wasting time doing God knows what like some teens. But sometimes she acts like we're roommates or coworkers instead of her parents. She draws a line in everything: her time, her space, and her money. Anyway, a while back, she told us she planned to pay for her own university one day, and that she wanted to start saving up to buy land or invest somehow. She's into finance videos and real estate TikToks and all that. We were like, okay, cool, and didn't think much of it. I mean, she's 15. She said she didn't want us to stress about tuition and all that, which is sweet on paper. But let's be honest, it came off more like, I don't trust you to help me, so I'll just do it all myself. Whatever. She started working after school and on weekends, and she saved everything. Barely spent a pound. It's admirable, sure, but again, it's like she was obsessed. She even told her brother off once for asking to borrow £10 for a Roblox gift card, like she was his bank manager instead of his sister. My husband said, it's her money, let her be. But I told him at the time money's going to her head. She was 16, acting like she was already paying rent. That attitude doesn't sit right with me. Now, my son, he's different. He's sweet, soft-hearted, and a bit sensitive. He's always been the baby of the family. And yeah, I do protect him. He's never been that interested in school, but he lights up when he's playing games. He's been begging for a proper gaming PC setup for over a year. We've always said no because, frankly, we couldn't justify the cost. Those things run into the thousands, and we just couldn't swing it. His 13th birthday came up recently, and I could see how much it meant to him. He didn't even ask this time, just looked kind of resigned, like he knew we couldn't do it. That broke my heart. Then something happened. One morning, my daughter forgot her wallet at home. She never does that. She's always so guarded with her stuff. And yes, in our house, we know each other's card pins. It's not some criminal breach of privacy, we're a family. We share things. That's how I was raised. That's how we run our home. I looked at her bank balance, and she had saved around 30,000 Turkish lira, that's like £3,000. I knew she had money, but I didn't know it was that much. And I thought, she's not going to use this money anytime soon. She's not even in university yet. And her brother, he's turning 13 with nothing special, while she's sitting on a pile of cash like a dragon hoarding gold. So yes, I made a decision. I took a portion around £400 and ordered a full gaming setup. Monitor, tower, mouse, chair, the works. I even waited until the parts were on sale. I was so proud of myself for getting it all within budget. I wanted to make his day. And you should have seen his face when he saw it. Pure joy. He was literally in tears, saying it was the best day of his life. He hugged me like he was 5 years old again. My husband got emotional too. It felt right. That evening, my daughter came home. She walked in, saw the PC half unboxed in the living room, and just froze. At first, she smiled and said, "Wow, you actually got it," I said. "Yep, finally made it happen." She said something like, "I'm glad he got it," and walked off. 10 minutes later, she came storming out of her room with her phone, her face red, yelling, "Where the F is half my money? Now look, I get it." She worked hard. She saved. But the way she came at us, like we were criminals. No respect, no attempt to ask calmly. Just straight to screaming and swearing. I told her to watch her mouth and lower her voice, but she wasn't having it. She said we stole from her, that she trusted us, that she worked every weekend just for us to treat her like a bank account. She even called us selfish. I told her point blank, we didn't steal anything. That money was sitting there doing nothing. while her brother was going to bed sad every night. She said, "It's my money, not yours." And I said, "You are my daughter, and this is a family. Money isn't sacred above your own blood." She lost it. Told us we owe her. That we robbed her. I had enough. I said she better remember who she's talking to. I told her she's still a child under this roof, and that she has no right to talk to her parents like that over money. She stomped off and slammed her door like a drama queen. The whole house got tense. My son didn't even want to play with the computer anymore because he felt guilty. He asked me if he should give it back, which made me angry. He shouldn't have to feel bad for getting a present on his birthday. That should have been a happy day for him, not some crisis over money. My husband tried to mediate, which usually means he stands there wringing his hands and hoping someone else solves the problem. He knocked on her door, tried to talk, and came back saying she was crying. I said good, maybe now she'll cool off and think logically instead of acting like we burned her life savings for fun. We left her alone that night. I made dinner. No one said much. My son barely ate. My husband kept giving me looks like he wanted to say something but didn't. I ignored him. I wasn't going to sit there and act like I'd done something unforgivable when all I did was take care of my family the way a mother should. The next morning she goes to school early and doesn't say goodbye. Fine. She comes back home later and won't speak to us at all. Just straight to her room. Door closed. Headphones. Later that evening, she finally comes out and asks us to sit down. She printed out some bank policy sheets or something. Like she was a lawyer. She said, "I want the money back. All of it. I don't care how long it takes. You pay me back every month." She was dead serious. Like we were some strangers who owed her a loan repayment. I told her absolutely not. I said, "I bought your brother a gift. He needed it. That money is gone. You will survive. You have your job. You will rebuild. This is not a tragedy." She said, "No. I worked for that. I sacrificed for that. And you took it without my permission. That's stealing." I told her, "You are my daughter. Nothing in this house is separate. We are not Western families where everyone turns 18 and pretends they don't know their parents. We support each other. You are not above the family." She said she wasn't above the family, but she's allowed to have boundaries. I said, "Boundaries are not an excuse to be selfish." That's when she said, "You ruined my future and my trust in you. Do you understand that?" And I'll be honest, and I mean honest, that sentence irritated me more than anything else in this entire situation. Ruined her future. Over some money she hasn't needed yet, and will easily make back because she works constantly anyway. I said, "Stop talking like a victim. You are fine. You lost nothing important." She said something along the lines of, "You don't care about what I care about," and then she left to stay at her aunt's house. My sister. The dramatic flair runs in the family, apparently. My sister is one of those gentle parenting, respect children as individuals people, so obviously she's taking my daughter's side. She texted me saying I violated trust. I ignored her. 2 days go by. My daughter is still staying there. My son barely touches the PC now. My husband keeps saying we should apologize, just to ease the tension. I told him no. If we bend now, she will never respect us again. This is how children become the type who move out at 18 and act like their parents are strangers. I'm not doing that. We are still her family. That money was not some sacred shrine. It was sitting there while her brother needed something. And yes, I know some people are going to jump straight to, "It was her money, case closed." But this is not some roommate situation. She lives here. We feed her. We house her. We have provided everything she needed for her entire life. The least she can do is contribute when the family needs it. The moment she started acting like she's a self-made millionaire because she saved some money, I knew there was going to be a conflict eventually. My husband said, maybe we should offer to pay some of it back over time. I told him no, because then it turns it into something it wasn't. I didn't take from her. I made a parental decision. If I start paying her back, it's like admitting I stole something, and I refuse to let my own child talk about me like I'm some criminal. She came home yesterday to pick up clothes. Didn't look at us. Didn't say a word. I said, "You're really doing all this over money?" She said, "No. I'm doing this because you don't respect me." Then she left again. I'll admit something, not guilt, just an observation. The house feels strange without her here. Quieter. Not better. Not worse. Just off. My son keeps asking when she's coming back. I told him she just needs time to cool down. But between you and me, she's stubborn. She gets that from me. If she wants to play estranged daughter, she can. She'll come back when she gets hungry, or bored, or realizes life isn't as black and white as she thinks. But now apparently she's telling extended family that we stole from her. Word has gotten around. One of my cousins texted me saying, "You shouldn't have touched her savings." I told her to mind her own household before commenting on mine. But now I'm here. Because yes, I am annoyed. I am offended. But I'm also something else. Not sad, not guilty, and I'm not seeking forgiveness. I just don't like being painted as some villain when all I did was try to give one child happiness and remind the other one that family comes before money. So, Reddit. Ada. Comments. Comment 1. Wow. YTA isn't even strong enough. This is next level entitlement. First off, let's kill this. We're a family. Nothing is separate logic. She's not hoarding jewelry under the floorboards she was saving for university in advance, so you wouldn't be burdened later. That wasn't just money. That was security. Ambition. A literal escape plan. And you snatched it for a gaming PC. And don't give me this, "she wasn't using it right now" BS. If someone's building a house and leaves bricks on the ground, you don't just go, "Well, they weren't building this week, so I'll take them." What's worse? You didn't even warn her. You didn't ask. You didn't discuss. You took it behind her back like she's a toddler with lunch money. Then when she rightfully got angry, you played the "how dare you disrespect me" card. That's not parenting. That's power tripping. You don't get to raise a kid to be smart, independent, and hardworking, then punish her for it because it makes you uncomfortable. You say you're not a Western family. You're not acting like any family I'd want to be in, period. Comment 2. Nope. Absolutely not. You're delusional. He was sad about not getting a PC, so effing what? Welcome to being 13. I was sad about a lot of SHT when I was 13. You don't get to financially kneecap one child because the other had a pouty face. Your daughter didn't just save money. She structured her future around the belief that no one would screw her over. She trusted you. That trust was currency too, and you pissed it away for a birthday moment. Your son will forget this PC in 3 years when he's asking you to buy him a new GPU and you can't. Your daughter will never forget that her own mother raided her savings behind her back and called her selfish when she complained. You think you're teaching her about family over money? No, you're teaching her that family can't be trusted, and she's right. Good luck when she's 18 and leaves with a locked suitcase and zero plans to visit for the holidays. Comment 3. Reading this gave me flashbacks. My mom used to borrow my money to birthday cash, part-time job pay, and once even my student bursary. It was always for the house, or your sister needed it, or you live under my roof. I'm 30 now and haven't spoken to her in years. You don't seem to realize what you actually did here. It's not about the computer. It's not about the money. It's about control. You saw her independence as a threat and decided to knock her down a peg. That's why you didn't ask. That's why you refused to pay her back. That's why you went full know your place when she protested. You framed this like a parenting win. But let me tell you, the moment your daughter realized you don't respect her boundaries, her efforts, or her future, that was the moment she stopped seeing you as her safe person. She's not angry because you took some money. She's angry because you showed her exactly where she stands in your household. And it's beneath everyone else. Update. So, things escalated faster than I thought they would. The day after I made that post, my daughter took it a step further. She reported me to the police. Yes, her own mother. She showed up at the station with the receipt for the PC, which she stole from my room drawer without asking, and her bank transaction history, and made a report for theft. I didn't even know until 2 officers showed up at my door to ask questions. I had to stand there like a criminal in my own home, trying to explain to strangers why my teenage daughter was accusing me of robbing her. She also notified her bank and tried to initiate some kind of fraud investigation to get the money frozen. I found out just in time and went down there myself. Thankfully, I still had legal authority over her account because she's a minor, and I managed to settle it before it got flagged as a formal dispute. I don't care what people say, she crossed a major line. Reporting your own mother for theft over family money. Absolutely disgusting. But fine. I tried to fix it. I called the store to return the PC. Explained everything. They refused because it had already been unboxed and partially set up. So I had no choice. I listed everything online. Had to haggle with 3 different weirdos on Facebook Marketplace and ended up selling the whole thing at a loss. I had to add my own money to make up the full amount. Every single pound she said was stolen. I counted it in cash, handed it to her in an envelope at my sister's flat, and said, "Here. Now you've been paid back. Happy?" She just nodded. No apology. No, thank you. No recognition of what she put me through. Just took the money like it was owed. And while all this was happening, my son, who, by the way, has done absolutely nothing wrong in this, was heartbroken. He cried for 2 days straight. Kept asking why his birthday gift was punishment. I tried explaining, but he doesn't get it. He looked at me and said, "Did she hate me that much? That killed me." Since then, he's been acting off. Quiet. Snappy. Barely talks to his sister when she comes by to grab her stuff. Says, "I don't care" a lot. It's like both my kids were taken away by one stupid fight. And yeah, I blame her. She poisoned the dynamic in this house with her obsession over money. When she came back a week later to pick up more clothes, I told her plain and simple. If she wants to live under this roof again, she pays rent. Period. She's old enough to work, clearly thinks she's financially independent, and has made it clear she sees us as strangers who took her assets. Fine. She can be treated like a tenant then. She didn't respond. Just packed and left again without a word. A few hours later, my cousin texted me saying I was abusing my daughter financially and pushing her out of the house. So now my relatives are involved. Of course. Everyone's got an opinion when they hear a one-sided version. I explained it all to a few of them. Some said they understood why I was upset, but others, especially the ones who don't have kids, acted like I'd committed a war crime. One said, "You're teaching your daughter to never trust her family again." Like, that's my fault? She's the one who brought the police into it. Now she's gone. For real this time. Staying full-time with my sister. We haven't talked since the day I handed her the cash. My husband says she's planning to apply for student housing as soon as she turns 18. She's still working, still saving, and now apparently has her own adult savings account with zero parental access. I wonder who coached her through that. My son still asks when she's coming back. I tell him, maybe soon, but we both know she's not. She's planning her exit. She's probably already decided this family isn't worth coming back to. And if that's how she wants it, fine. But let's be honest here. This entire breakdown started because she couldn't stand the idea that her hard-earned money might help someone else for once. That's the truth no one wants to say out loud. I bent over backwards to fix the situation. I sold the PC. I paid her back. I tried to explain myself. And still, I'm being treated like the monster. She won. She got everything back. And she still walked away like we were nothing. This isn't about the money. It's about pride. Her needing to prove she's above her family. And all these people cheering her on, calling her brave or independent, don't see what I see: a girl who thinks loyalty ends where her savings account begins. So whatever. She's gone. The house is tense. My son's not himself. My husband doesn't know where to stand. And all I hear from my sister are lectures about emotional boundaries. But I did what I had to do. I don't regret it. Not for a second. A mother protects all her children, not just the one with a part-time job and a savior complex. That's the update. Not looking for pity. Just wanted to set the record straight. Comments. Comment 1. YTA. The saddest part of this isn't the money, the PC, or the police. It's that your son learned 2 terrible life lessons in one birthday. His happiness comes at someone else's expense. Emotional needs don't matter unless they're loud enough to break a house apart. You framed him as the one who needed to be saved. He's now internalized that his joy hurts his sister. That is going to twist the way he views worth, gifts, love, and conflict for years. And then? You took the only thing that made him feel special, sold it, and blamed his sister. So now he thinks his needs are a burden. Love is conditional. His sister is the enemy. That boy's emotional development is about to get scorched. Your daughter didn't ruin the family. She reacted to a boundary that got violated. You set the fire. Your son is the one burning in it. Comment 2. YTA. And let me explain why the legal part matters here. You keep repeating, "She's my daughter," as if that means the law doesn't apply. But it does. When a minor earns money through legal employment, that money belongs to the minor. Not the parent. Not the household. Her. The only reason you got away with reversing the bank dispute is because the account was still under your administrative control. That won't be the case soon. The moment she turns 18, you lose all legal access to her finances, and she knows that now. Which means the only leverage you had was emotional. And you shattered that. And demanding rent from a teenager who just recovered stolen funds. That's retaliation. Nothing else. She didn't go nuclear. You forced her into a corner where the legal system was her only defense. This is the kind of event that defines family estrangement. When she leaves at 18, and it won't be dramatic. It will be quiet. Final. You won the argument. And you lost your daughter. Update. I didn't expect all of this to spiral the way it did. I didn't think one argument about money would end up rearranging the entire house. But here we are. After my daughter left to live with my sister, the house didn't settle. It just sat in tension. You could feel it in the air. My husband barely spoke. My son kept to his room. I tried to maintain normal routines, but it was like everyone was waiting for something to break. It did. 2 weeks after the incident with selling the PC, my husband came home from work. Didn't even take his shoes off. Just stood in the hallway and said, "I need space." I asked, "Space for what?" He said everything was suffocating. He said he couldn't handle being in a house where everyone was hurting each other. He now rents a small room from some older guy he found on Facebook Marketplace. He sends money when he can. He hasn't asked me once if I'm coping. I'm not going to pretend it didn't sting. I've been holding this house together for years, while he cruises through life doing the bare minimum. But suddenly now he wants space. Convenient timing, right after I became the villain in everyone's eyes. Cowardly move. But he still calls our son. Not me. Only our son. And speaking of our son, the school called me last week. Apparently he broke down crying during a lesson, and the teacher sent him to the counselor. The counselor called me, saying he feels responsible for the conflict between his mother and sister. As if a child is supposed to carry the emotional weight of the entire situation. They wanted me to come in for a meeting. I went. I sat there while 2 strangers told me my parenting choices impacted his emotional stability. I told them we're dealing with family matters, and outside interference only complicates things. They looked at me like I was speaking another language. My son now goes to these check-ins twice a week. And now every time he comes home, he barely looks at me. Once, I tried to ask him what they talk about. He just said, "Stuff," and shut his door. He's polite. Not rude. Not yelling. Just absent. I know exactly where that's coming from. Because my daughter is still in the picture, just not with me. She and my son are still talking. She calls him at night. They play online games together sometimes, and she even dropped off snacks for him at the school reception. She doesn't come into the house, doesn't look at me, and doesn't ask how anyone is doing. Just drives off. Like she's the adult dropping off supplies for disaster victims. And he lights up when he hears her voice. He laughs, he smiles, and his shoulders loosen. Then he hangs up and goes quiet again. As if our house is the problem, and she's the relief. The message is clear. She cut off everyone except him. As if I'm the contamination that needs to be avoided. And fine. If she wants to communicate through him, then that's her choice. But don't pretend that isn't manipulative. I know what she's doing. She's building loyalty. Painting herself as the one safe person. Turning him into someone who will one day leave too. Now, extended family. Let's talk about that mess. My husband's brother used to help us sometimes when bills got tight. Not a lot, but enough to get through certain months. After hearing my daughter's version of events, which I'm sure was dramatized to make her look like the wounded hero, he texted me saying he wouldn't send money anymore. Said he can't support someone who financially takes from their own child. As if wanting £400 spread across family needs is the crime of the century. And then my cousin, the same one who was planning to help us with university paperwork, later blocked me. Not argued. Not debated. Blocked. Over one situation they barely understand. But here's the thing that really pushed everything off the edge. My daughter came by last week to pick up some documents. Same routine, no hello, no conversation. Just in and out. Except this time, my son hugged her. Long hug. She said something to him quietly. I couldn't hear it. He nodded. He didn't even look back at me when she walked out. After she left, I asked him what she said. He said, "Nothing. Just that she's always here for me. Not us. Not this house. Not your family. She, herself, alone, against us. That's division. That's intentional. So I decided something. If she chooses to cut herself out of this family, then I won't chase her. I won't beg. I won't pretend we did something unforgivable. I won't bend to her emotional power play. I told my son, this is still your home. Your sister made her choice." He didn't say anything. Just closed his door again. The silence in this house now is different. It's not tension anymore. It's vacant. My husband is gone. My daughter is gone. My son is here physically, but mentally somewhere else. Everyone keeps acting like this is my fault, but I refuse to accept that narrative. I did what mothers do. I made a decision for the household. I provided what one child needed. I maintained authority. If everyone wants to rewrite that as villainy, that's on them. Comments. Comment 1. Why Tia and your son's paying for it now? I don't think you understand how badly you just F-ed your son up. You taught him that love comes with a cost, someone else's pain. His birthday gift caused the family to fall apart. That's not his fault, but you made it his to carry. Now he doesn't feel safe being happy. He doesn't feel safe showing emotion. You turned him into the emotional sponge for this entire mess. He's not cold, he's shutting down. That's what guilt looks like in kids. And instead of helping him process it, you're still using him as a way to shame his sister. She made her choice. No, she made a boundary. And now he's stuck living with the one person who refuses to understand why everyone else left. Comment 2. Why TA? What's wild is how you still think this is about a gaming PC. It's not. It never was. Your daughter doesn't hate you because of the money. She cut you off because you showed her your priorities. You proved she's not allowed to have control over her own life, even when she earns it. You showed her that your love is conditional, that you will cross any boundary and still expect obedience. And now your husband left, and your kid barely speaks, and your response is, what? Dig in deeper. Still claim you're the victim. No one's asking you to crawl or beg. But damn, a little humility might have saved your family. Instead, you picked being right over being close. You still don't get it. That's the scariest part. Second story. I and my then girlfriend reconciled after breaking up. She saw a guy during our break, and he has resurfaced again. But my girlfriend hid him from me, so I cheated on her and married her. Now, 3.5 years later, she wants me to apologize and accept that I regretted it. But I didn't and told it to her face. Now she is having a breakdown. My wife is currently pregnant and has spiraled hard over something I said that I am unwilling to take back. We have a long history. We met at 22 and were in an exclusive situationship. Feelings were there on both sides, and she admitted she loved me. But since she wanted to be single and explore herself, she chose not to be with me and eventually got with someone else, knowing it badly hurt me. I cut her off at that time. At 27, we crossed paths again. Despite how messy and painful things had been, the feelings were still there like an invisible thread. She deeply apologized and went to personal therapy, and we had long talks before starting something serious. We took it slow. There were a lot of happy times and shared goals. I started to picture marriage, and we eventually got engaged. 7 months into our engagement, she got an Instagram request from the guy she had left me for. She responded politely when he messaged, "Hello." That seriously hurt me because I thought he was gone from our lives for good. I couldn't shake the feeling that my fiancé still couldn't resist getting validation from him, even if it was just basic courtesy, and that not immediately rejecting the request or talking to me about it wasn't her first instinct. She tried to explain she didn't realize I'd have a problem with it. But I couldn't move past it and broke up with her, even though it left both of us heartbroken, more so her. During the breakup, I wasn't sure if I wanted to be with her, so I started sleeping with her again, while also dating someone else casually and having a sex. She knew, but she stayed involved with me anyway. Eventually, I saw how much it was hurting her, so I told her I should let her go, and that what I was doing wasn't good for her mental health. But I was also impressed with how much she was willing to put herself through for me. After months, we got back together for good and later married. My wife recognized her role in how things had gone, and those hookups/casual dating weren't intensely emotional for me, even though I wasn't sure if I wanted to be with her at the moment. This is where it got hard, because I once told her in a serious conversation, Ida, this is right before we got engaged again, that I don't regret what I did. As painful as it was, I felt it balanced our relationship. Since she had left me when we were younger, at least I wasn't the only one who pined for the other. She also had to emotionally work to keep someone, like I once did. It was toxic in a way, but it gave me mental closure. She didn't like hearing that, but she accepted it graciously. And we went on to have 3 good years of marriage. Now, at 5 months pregnant, she's spiraling again. She cries every day, saying I cheated right in front of her, and begs demands I take back what I said. She wants me to say I didn't need to sleep with other people. But I can't erase the facts or deny my own truth, especially since in my perspective, she was the one who first allowed that old guy to re-enter the picture. So I doubled down and told her no, she knew about all of this. Ida. Please also note that this topic never once came up in our 3.5 years of togetherness, ever since we got back together again. She only started pestering me about it a couple of weeks ago. I didn't start this, but I was firm on where I stood. That sent her into even more hysterics. I tried to explain that during those months, I genuinely wasn't sure if I wanted to be with her. But that only made her cry harder. Update. When I wrote my original post, I was still in the office, away from her when I left our house. I had spent it numbed out at work, then slept at my office. I am writing this update while I am working from home today, and she's with her mum right now. When I was away, I didn't pick up her calls even though she rang me several times. I lost count. I just needed space to process and figure out what to say. Because even if people argue I don't love her, the truth is I am attached to her. Maybe we're even a little codependent at this point. When I finally went home, she greeted me, but it looked like she hadn't slept the whole night. I stopped her from going to the kitchen and said we needed to talk first. I told her, before I say anything else, know that I'm willing to give us another shot. But I'm also reevaluating whether this marriage should continue or not. I could see she wanted to cry, but I appreciated that she stayed patient and listened. I told her I wish our history wasn't so messy, that we didn't have so much baggage. I said that even though I wish things had played out differently, I'm never going to outright admit I cheated on her because I didn't. But I do love her and feel empathy for her pain, and I wish it hadn't hurt the way it did. What I needed her to understand, though, is that she can't keep demanding I say I regret what I did. The truth is breaking up with her, and being unsure if I wanted her as my partner was a direct response to what happened during our engagement when she let that old connection back into her life. Even before that, I had felt unequal in the relationship. When she left me for someone else years ago, I had asked her to be official, and she said no so she could use the technicality to walk away without feeling like the bad guy. That left me insecure, and maybe it's toxic, but I really did feel that my actions later brought some balance to our relationship. For once, she felt what it was like not to have all of my loyalty, just like I once had to feel with her. I told her that while I wish it hadn't unfolded this way, she has to find a way to accept my perspective. She can't keep projecting her guilty conscience onto me. None of this would have happened if not for her choices first. In some ways, it probably would have been better if we never got back together. But here we are, and we've built a family. I reiterated that these are my feelings, the same ones I was honest about when we reconciled. I asked her to tell me within a reasonable time frame whether she can truly live with that or not. I said I'm open to exploring this in marriage counseling with her, but I'm also clear about what I can and cannot say, and no matter what, my feelings about it won't change. If she can't accept it, then we'll have to figure out what's best for our child together or apart. She broke down in a way that reminded me of years ago, when she first admitted her guilt and apologized for leaving me. Except this time it was worse. Through sobs, she said she doesn't want to lose me, but she also doesn't feel like I truly choose her. She even admitted the irony of it, pointing out that she knows this is exactly how I once felt during our relationship when she broke our boundaries. Hearing her say that hit me, because it showed she understood the parallel, even if it's unbearable for her. She told me she had time to think, and realized that a big part of why she wanted me to say what she wanted was because she still hasn't fully forgiven herself for what happened all those years ago when she left me to be with her ex. She said it was the worst mistake of her life. Even though things have been good between us, she felt like she needed more than just therapy, she needed my validation. In her mind, if I admitted I regretted what I said and how I felt, that would finally allow her to forgive herself and move forward in our relationship. I understand her more now and have empathy, even though I don't fully agree with her that I needed to say that to soothe her feelings of guilt. That really moved me because I hadn't realized that guilt was the real driver behind her extra vulnerability and shame spirals. She said my refusal to take it back just reopens her shame and makes it worse. I told her that at the time, I was hurt and unsure about us, and I made choices I thought I needed to, but I also see now how badly they hurt her. I promised her I'll never repeat them, because today I know with certainty that I want her and only her. For me, this feels like a personal breakthrough. We both admitted that what we truly want is the same thing to feel chosen. At least that gives us common ground to work from. In the end, even though we were both in tears, we kept coming back to the fact that we love each other. We kissed, broke down crying together, and spent the few hours in the early morning holding each other. But even in that closeness, I couldn't shake the feeling that our issues aren't resolved. I still don't know where we stand in terms of any real agreement, only that we're deeply attached and neither of us wants to let go. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.